Let's talk about our upcoming book, Getting Around Town. It's a Spanish book that I made specifically for myself to practice Spanish. The whole idea of the book is as an educational guide designed to help travelers master the essentials of Spanish for urban navigation. And what we're doing is basically it's practical use of Spanish down the street, make a left kind of directions that I have heard on multiple occasions, and I needed to start making the list of it. What I did was I assembled this as an engaging but gentle introduction, a reminder. The whole idea to the book is that I can publish it, read it, and then I see the English and I'll see the Spanish. The next step in the process is I want to produce an audiobook version for this so that plug it into the head and listen to the English to Spanish while you sleep kind of thing. The audience for this is more the language enthusiasts and people looking to travel the world and do the whole globetrotter thing. I understand it's Spanish, but most of my travels are in Spanish-speaking countries, so it fits. The introduction and inspiration to the book was the multiple trips to South America, Central America, and Spanish-speaking areas of the world. The utility of the book is the highest priority for me. When I was putting it together, I was working specifically with taking directions from locals without family members translating for me. It's an independence and a learning tool. The core summary of the book is broken down by locations, getting to the basic words that we're going to run into, repeat multiple times. So what'll happen is you'll have words like left and right, and they're reiterated throughout the book because they're so common, they're so useful. Down the street, to the highway, that kind of commonly used phrases that we take for granted in our native language that you'll hear but not necessarily use in regular conversation. So this is addressing that specific problem of talking to the taxi driver, talking to the Uber driver, and such like that. The standout message and theme to the book is let's not get lost. The reason that's important is because, like it or not, there are places you don't really want to go, so you don't want to get lost and wander down the wrong alley in a lot of places. If we can put ourselves into a position where we have a much stronger grasp of the language, when we are asking that kindly old lady on the corner for how do I get to the bookstore or how do I get to the grocery store, we can follow the directions correctly and go the correct direction instead of getting ourselves lost and tangled about. The process and unique elements to this book and this work is that what we're trying to do is we're trying to put together a logical grouping of destinations. So the libraries together, the schools together, the beaches together, that kind of thing like that. I grouped it because chances are we're going to have a specific destination in mind, and the directions finding our way around those is important. So if we can pull that together, what'll end up happening is we'll have a much stronger, more concise grasp of those destination words. My personal take and recommendation on the book is basically if you're a Spanish-speaking neophyte or if you're going without knowing and you're moving to a Spanish location for either a vacation or a visit or however you're working it, you can quickly and easily take this book and review the section specific that you're targeting, like a beach. Using the beach example, if we take that beach example, we look up the beach, we can ask, where do we find, how do we get to the beach, how do we navigate around the beach, up the shore, down the shore, those kind of questions like that you'll find more specifically for the beach questions. And what that allows is it allows not only the quick grouping, but it's a relevant and targeted grouping for where we're going. Crack open, read real quick, listen by the chapter real quick, and very rapidly put ourselves into a position where we've refreshed our knowledge for that specific location. That's the intent, and that's how it's arranged. As far as a recommendation, it's a very intermediate and starter level Spanish work. It's a combination kind of thing because the written is obviously going to be different than the audio, because most of the time I've picked up my directions from audio communications or oral and audio communications, whereas reading directions is not necessarily a huge deal for me. I'm better reading Spanish than I am listening and speaking. Where we're coming from when we're into the Spanish book for Getting Around Town. It's upcoming. I plan to have it out before the end of the year, but we'll see.